2011 PGA champion Keegan Bradley joins us now at the 108th PGA Championship. Keegan, welcome to Aronimink and your 16th PGA Championship. This is a place you probably have some pretty fond memories of. What comes to mind when you think of Aronimink?
Yeah, this was a major moment in my career. I never knew if I'd win again on the tour, and I got to win for the first time in 5 or 6 years, and the first time I got to win with my family here. My son Logan was a little baby, and they ran out in the green, so it was a dream for me since I was a little kid to be able to experience that, and to win at an amazing course like this is really, really extra special.
Great, thank you. We'll open up for questions starting on JB.
Following up on that, based on your knowledge of the course, what is going to make the difference between winning and losing this weekend?
Well, I think that what makes this place difficult are the greens. So you really need to be able to control your distances, hit the ball in the fairway. Off the tee, it's not extremely challenging, but the greens get really crazy, and they're really mounded and hilly, and just like a lot of Northeast courses are like. So, to put the ball in the right spot is really important.
Paul Ane.
Keegan, have you been out on the course yet this week?
Not this week. I came a couple weeks ago with some guys and played it, but it was in incredible shape then, and I heard it's even better now.
What, just setup wise, based on what we had in 2018, do you expect it to play similar? Any specific differences that you've already noticed as we try to kind of learn a little bit more about Aronimink? Been a while since we've been here.
Yeah. So when we played here last time, it was so wet that it's not going to play like that. It actually made some of the shots in difficult because of how soft the greens were. They'd come spinning off, but totally different. Who knows what the weather looks like. It's getting better. Added a few tees they made a lot of the finishing holes a lot harder. 18 was already difficult, and they added 30, 40 yards there. Same with 17 and 15. So it seems like they've made a lot of the harder holes even harder. But it's just an amazing venue for a PGA Championship.
Right here, Jim Ane.
Keegan, you win the PGA like rookie season, but is there a chance that your win here in 18 is kind of more important to your career because of what you've done since then?
Yeah, definitely. I was in a really, really dark place with my putter, and this was the first glimmer of hope that I had. And when you put yourself in positions to win and you succeed, magical things can happen. And I didn't know how I would react to being back in that position. And I remember coming down the stretch and thinking in my head, like, I can't believe how calm you are in this moment. That's not something I say to myself very often. So I was just really almost shocked that I was so calm and really enjoying the moment of being in there. And I had this really incredible moment that I'll never forget the rest of my career that happened here. I was on the 8th green, and it's adjacent to the 10th green. And I'm in the final couple groups, and I'm leading the tournament. And on the 10th green was Tiger Woods, and he was red and black. And I looked up at the leaderboard, and he was like one back of me. And I remember thinking, like, this is so crazy that I'm in this spot again. And there's my idol, and he's trying to chase me down, and he's right there. And it was just a moment of, like, I was just really proud that I put myself back in the position to be there.
Back to Alex on B.
Keegan, yeah, regarding that performance 15 years ago, obviously a lot's happened in your playing career since then. Now that we come here to Aronimink in 2026, a course that's been a bit since you've last seen, how does your major championship preparation evolve over the years in your career?
Yeah, so this is really a different preparation because of the lead up to the tournament, playing 2 weeks before. I don't know. I think when I won in Atlanta Athletic Club, I had done that, but we don't normally do that very often now. So that's why we came a little earlier, played the course. So I'm actually just hit balls today and going to play 9 and 9. But, I have to be a little bit more conscious of getting some rest this week. What's great about this golf course and a lot of golf courses in the Northeast is the holes are going to be right there. You can see it. You know what you got to do. It's not a lot of hazards. It's just right there, and you got to deal with it. And that's what I love about this place. And I think coming a little earlier was helpful. And then these next 2 days, I get a little feel for it too.
And you mentioned growing up in the Northeast where Donald Ross greens are very popular. Talk to me about what your first thoughts are when you think of playing a course with Donald Ross putting surfaces.
Well, I think you have to be very specific with where you're hitting it, because I can think of several holes here where you could land it and be close to the flag 4 or 5 feet, and it's going to roll down. The 11th hole is a really wild green, and if you missed it and it comes down off the green, it's coming like 50, 60 yards down the front. So you have to be really accurate and precise with where you're hitting the ball on the green.
Right here, Juan on A.
So Keegan, I was wondering, as a past champion, what makes the PGA Championship unique or different? I mean, some players will say it's the strength of the field or the setup, but from your point of view, what is the difference between the PGA Championship?
Well, for me, there's a lot of significant things. And PGA of America has been really important in my career. My dad's a PGA professional, taught me the game, brought me up to where he was the head pro at golf courses where I could practice. And so PGA of America has always been really special to me. Playing on Ryder Cups, being the Ryder Cup captain, I've gotten to know a lot of the PGA of America people, which makes it extra special. But what I think separates the PGA to other majors is they have no agenda at this tournament. And Kerry Haig does an unbelievable job setting up major championship golf courses. And, you go to the U.S. Open, their agenda is we're going to make this ridiculously hard to the point of being unfair. And, at the British Open, it's going to the weather, and the Masters is the Masters. It's just going to be tough and stressful. But PGA Championship could be 3 under, could win, could be 15 under. They just want to host a great tournament, and I think they do an incredible job of that.
Back to Paul.
Keegan, we talked to you at the Players, and you mentioned mentally still just struggling after Bethpage last year. Just wondering where you're at now with everything.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel better. I really am. The last couple months, I've started to feel more like myself. Sometimes I'm a little too honest with how I'm feeling, and it gets me in some weird spots, but it was tough after the Ryder Cup, and it still is. I still will be driving down the road, and things will pop into my head. I'll think about something I wish I'd done or done this different. But, getting back out here, getting in the routine, I'm playing some better golf, and I'm starting to feel a little bit more like myself out there, and I'm feeling a little bit more separated from Bethpage. And I think, as time goes on and I'm able to, play another major, play some bigger tournaments, hopefully put myself in contention, those things will sort of kind of get back into the distance.
Juan on A.
Just following up on that, talking about feeling better, you almost made the team for the Ryder Cup last year, but the captain decided not to pick you. So
Yeah.
So how much would you like to be in the team next year for the Ryder Cup?
Yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about that. It's going to be really hard. I know that. It shall be 41 when that happens. And but what a cool story it would be. How fun would that be? And I've sort of resigned myself. This Ryder Cup's been just so brutal to me over the years in every way. In every single way, it's been brutal, and I have a tough time focusing in on something like that because of how tough it's been. But I've been sort of telling myself lately, I told myself after Rome I was never going to get that emotionally invested. I was going to play my game and try to get on the team. But I'd really like to make that team in Ireland. I'd really love to play for Jim Furyk, who's an idol of mine, but also become a great friend and mentor. And, getting to know the guys on the team last year have changed my life, changed who I am as a person. And I would love to play in a Ryder Cup with them.
Any other questions for Keegan? Jim on A.
Just curious, what's it like? You go to the PGA Champions dinner. What's that like? The gathering when you're at that thing.
It's the most spectacular day of my peak golf year. Sometimes because we're so busy and we're so focused on competing and getting better, you sort of forget some of the accomplishments that you've made in your career. And when I go to the Champions dinner, I'm overwhelmed with emotion because to be in the room with these people, and the way the PGA of America has done it since COVID, it's just been the players, and we've been able to really hang out and tell stories and hear, you know, stories from Larry Nelson and stories from Padraig Harrington, and it's really just an incredible night. And it's sometimes as I'm getting older in my career, I'm trying to relish and enjoy these moments, and I really look forward to that night tomorrow night, because I feel like it's a time that you can actually go, wow, what I did there in 2011 was really something special, and something that I get to enjoy with those group of people every year for the rest of my life.
Over to Mike B, please.
You're a Northeast guy. This is a Northeast course. Do you get an extra energy from the crowd and from the venue being in a Northeast course, having a tournament here?
Definitely. Yeah. I even went out in my deck today when I was at my house, and I could smell like the Northeast. I could smell the grass. It was different. But I take extreme pride, and I feel a lot of weight to represent New England and the Northeast in the golf world, because there's not that many of us. And I feel like I have a duty to the younger generation and people that are growing up to show them that, you know, we can compete being from around here. It's difficult, but so I do feel when I come here, not just the courses suit me a lot better here in my careers, because this is how I grew up playing, but I really feel a duty to represent the area. I mean, Philly's a little further south for me, but I'll take it. It's Northeast to me, and I'm really, the proudest part about me is where I'm from. So I take a lot of pride in representing this area, and hope to be in contention.
Paul Ane.
For us that are still kind of figuring out this course, reacclimating, can you pick out a consequential hole maybe on both the front and back that you think will make a big difference this week?
Yeah, so on the front, the 8th holes are a really, really tough par 3. It can play anywhere from probably 180 yards to about 240. There's a runoff in the back that sort of goes up into the rough. It can be anywhere. I mean, I hit a 7-wood last time I was here. It's just a brutal hole. And then 17 is like really properly tough. There's a new tee there from when we played, and you're standing there. It's basically from the back tee. It's basically a par 4. It looks like the flag looks really little when you're back there, and there's a lot that can happen on that hole because of the water that's in play and stuff. And when you're coming down there with the lead, with a 1-shot lead, that's gonna be a stressful shot. So I think those 2 holes, especially 17, because you can tuck these pins into these hazards that run back into them, and that hole's gonna be really tough.
We'll wrap things up with Adam here on Mike A.
Keegan, how did you celebrate after winning the PGA in 11? And during the course of the year, was there some other big celebration that you did afterwards?
So, after the PGA in 11, my mom and sister were there, and I remember my agent Ben was there, and I remember driving out of the Atlanta Athletic Club with the Wanamaker in my lap, like holding it like this, and we were like looking at each other like, this is crazy. I can't put, like, it was like I was holding it. And then I went, we tried to, like, it was Sunday night, they were trying to get like some beers or something. Everything was closed, and we went back, and I had Bud Light and cereal for dinner. And we still have a picture of it in my house somewhere. And then I took the trophy and put it right next to my bed. And I remember like waking up in the morning and like looking at it and like, this is crazy. I can't believe this. And then I got back, and all of my buddies picked me up. I was single and 25 years old, and all of my buddies picked me up from the airport. And like we went on a few days celebration tour with the trophy, bringing it everywhere. And, one of those moments that you get to share with people, and, some of the fondest memories of my life.
What type of cereal was it?
Do you remember? He's got the picture. I forget, but it was like we were, whatever we had, like I was starving. It was midnight, after you're done with media, and I remember just like thinking like how surreal this was, and there was Bud Light and cereal, and it was the best. It was the best meal of my life. It was like one minute I'm a rookie, and now I'm a major champion, and I'm looking on my Twitter, and every couple minutes I got 10,000 new followers. Like it was crazy. Like the night within the next following couple weeks.
Great. Thanks for your time, Keegan.
Thank
Good
you.
luck this week.